Thank you for joining us today for the Firebrand Chat with actor and entrepreneur Genelia Deshmukh. With almost 2 decades of experience in the Indian film industry, Genelia has starred in some of our favorite movies and played characters that have stayed with us for years. She is also the co-owner of Mumbai Film Company, along with her husband, Ritesh Deshmukh. And just a few months ago, she added to her long list of accomplishments when she and Ritesh launched their plant-based meat brand, Imagine Meats, which seeks to reimagine how the masses consume meat by providing equally juicy and succulent plant-based options. The brand encourages high protein and zero cholesterol diet choices with their plant-based alternatives. She is also associated with Impact Foundation and Tata Memorial Hospital to spread awareness about the high curability of childhood cancer. Genelia, welcome and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. My pleasure to be here.
Great. So, Genelia, as a celebrity, it's extremely important today to position yourself as a brand. And you're a beloved actor, a producer, an entrepreneur, a fashion icon. But what would you say is your personal brand and what does that represent?
So I'll tell you, my journey started off with being an actor, then it went on to producing, and that is growth, I think, at various levels for everyone. I mean, everyone has a different pattern which they follow. It may not be my pattern, but it's a different pattern of growth that they keep seeing for oneself. So when I initially came to this world of glamour and stuff like that, I was someone who didn't know about it. I didn't know how to go about it. And there was a lot of advice on the way that, do it this way, don't do it this way. Actors need to be this way. And that time it was a very heroine word that would be used.
Right.
If you need to be a heroine, you need to be in a certain mold, and you need to be to a point where people would I have a gummy smile and a big smile, and people would be like, this doesn't work, and you need to, you need to have like really small teeth. You don't need to have big eyebrows, and all those various things.
Right.
And I wouldn't lie that there were times that I heard it, and there were times that I thought that does this really work in a certain way, or does it really not work in a certain way? But there was a period where I figured that you need to present what you stand for. And for me, that was a middle class girl who has dreams, who needed to up the antenna, who needed to do her job, I would say, to a large extent, and to bring to the table what someone doesn't have, what is her speciality. So whether it's her effervescence, or whether it was a smile, or whether it was just the fact in being a normal girl that you would see and you would know and that you could relate to at the side, was the route that I took. So my personal stand and my personal brand would be someone who's extremely relatable, which was something that I took as an actor.
Right.
When I went into production also with my husband, it was a matter of growing as a production house. So our first film was called Balak Palak, which was BP, which is another film that we felt strongly about in terms of, how very often it's misguided, it's not understood. So everything concerning my personal brand was how I am as a person, which I didn't want. It is flawed. It has its own reasons, but it is also the beauty that you see in those little things, and what can eventually be a very strong personality trait of yours. If today someone tells me, "Hey, Genelia, you make me smile when you smile," it's something that I take as a huge compliment, and it's something that I didn't try to change. I didn't try to make it perfect. I went with what I am. Today also, when we talk about Imagine Meats, or when we talk about MFC, the things that I have done on the way, it's always been about choices that I have made. So I'm sure we'll talk further, but when it was a matter of setting up a food company, it was because I got interested in the whole idea of food, in the whole idea of being an ethical eater, of sustainability. So that's where that came about. When it was about films, a production house, Ritesh and me thought that we weren't really blessed with a silver spoon, and we can give out so many more opportunities. we have a small production house and we slowly are growing it, and that will be growth. But the idea is to make films that you believe in, to to have a business that you believe in. So the core of my brand is things that I believe in. When I'm a mom, I'm very proudly a mom. Like, I won't be someone who'll say that I won't play a mom on screen because I like playing a mom on screen, and I think casting a mom would always help more than casting just another actor. I mean, you can feel all of it as an actor, and you should, because that's your job. But having lived through it, there are experiences that you can get on screen which no one else can. So so that's pretty much how I'd like to sum up what I do as a personal brand.
Also very authentic, I would like to add. Like, the authenticity comes out in everything. So so like you said, let's talk about Imagine Meets. So you co-founded Imagine Meets just a few months ago, and I understand that both you and Ritesh are vegan. And the idea of vegan meat or plant-based meat has been becoming increasingly popular, but it's still a somewhat new concept in our country. So what was the vision behind this being your first entrepreneurial venture?
So Ritesh and me were both non-vegetarian eaters. We on the way gave up meat, but it was for very personal reasons when we gave up meat. And when we gave up meat, I was a very happy vegetarian. Ritesh craved his meat very often because, he felt the need to, like he wanted to eat meat. But he was very clear that he didn't want to go back to being a non-vegetarian. So to make that happen, we were in the US, and we attended the Good Food Institute in the US, which is a non-profitable organization, and people who are involved in various aspects of plant-based meat come there and put out what they have to say and speak, and that really fascinated us. We tried a lot of products there, and we realized that you can get your taste, your protein, your your feel in all of it, and you don't even have to kill an animal. So that's something that really stayed with us. And we said, we were there for 3 years, so we were thinking about it, we were trying to work it out. And when we came to India, we said, why are we only sticking to thinking that we need to do it in a burger patty format or in this format? Because we are not a burger eating nation. India is known for its curries and its biryanis and its sheets. And we said, why don't we get an Indian palate to this whole zone? And I, for one, know that, I was an animal lover. I am an animal lover. And I would be guilty to eat my meat very often. I would be like, I love a dog on one side and, I'm eating a chicken. I mean, how is that comparison even right? And I know, like me, there are a zillion people, but it's the taste that you're probably addicted to over the years, or the only thing that you know over the years. And you don't have to change that. You don't have to change that if you have a brand that's out there that speaks about it. So that was the idea behind Imagine Meets to a large extent. We wanted people to feel exactly how we felt, that giving it up is not a big deal, like if you have enough of options. So when we came out with Imagine Meets, we initially thought we would launch 3 to 4. But then we just had a whole array, because we said maybe there'd be one part which, people would want, and another part which they don't want. Like, I'm a breakfast eater. Ritesh is not a breakfast eater. He's a lunch eater, So we planned our 10 products, which are now in the market, wherein you can have a breakfast, a lunch, a dinner, or a snack. Maybe you just want to snack on a little bit of sausages and stuff like that. And this is good for your environment. I mean, apart from everything, at the end of the day, this is good for the environment. It's good for you. It's good for the animals. And it is a step that we need to take. We can't, continue doing this, because we're just ruining. I mean, apart from consciously being wrong, like I feel, apart from just going out there and killing animals, that's a different aspect. The carbon emissions, the water, everything that is involved with this is so vast. And I mean, we can do it together. I mean, I'm saying tomorrow and today, all meat companies are trying to give this as an option as well. So so I feel it is a very important call, and I feel as a company I'm very proud to have taken that decision, because I feel ethically right in a lot of ways. I mean, we were vegetarian who eventually turned plant-based. So it's been a journey, and I keep saying plant-based because every day I realize that there's something that I want to change versus saying vegan, because vegan is an entire lifestyle, on the whole. So today we have given up leather, and we have given up, like I've given up a lot of silk. I mean, I'd use artificial pleather or, artificial stuff. But there are times that I don't realize, like there are very few times. And it's a realization that I correct every day. And I feel that that's what my brand speaks for, like it's not an instant thing. Like I don't tell people that tomorrow you need to turn vegan, tomorrow you need to turn vegetarian. If in some way I can convince people that your one meal make it plant-based, I feel that as a brand we have already worked.
That's great. I'm sure there are challenges too that are unique to starting a business in the middle of a pandemic. So talk us through what that journey has been like and how you navigated that.
So the strangest thing is there'll always be challenges. You just have to find your way of working. So we were in Latur, and Naresh and me, we were off shooting. I had not yet started, but he had some time on hand because shoots were done, and we had gone to Latur, to our village, and we were like, let's start working on this. So we would get our protein from Berlin to Babelgau, to literally our village, every week, and there were times that it was difficult, it was challenging, but it went on. So we literally feel like we delivered a baby post lockdown because it was literally work. But I felt that we got a lot of time with each other, which we wouldn't have got. A lot to sit, discuss. Do we like it this way? Do we like it that way? Which happened because of the pandemic. So though there were other things wherein, there were delays on trying to get your protein, trying to figure it out, assemble it the right way. But the good parts were that we were both in the zone. We were both committed. This was what we were doing. And at that point in time, we started feeling it a lot more. And I feel any business venture that you start feeling a lot more. And, with all the things, we turned vegan up in that zone, in that first lockdown too. So it was a matter of getting the same taste. We don't want to change the taste profile. It's not that you're now not eating meat, so you want to change it. It was getting it at close. So most people argue and tell us that, if you want to eat meat, then why aren't you eating meat? It's like, we want to eat meat, but we don't want to do these zillion things, So the point of the matter is not that vegans don't like meat, or not that, people who are plant-based don't like it. They like it. It's for ethical or for personal or for health reasons that they give it up. And that's a very bold statement to make in any which way. So there were a lot of ups and downs, but which industry doesn't have that? I mean, you just got to take it in your stride and push it forward. Like we're a new category in the market in any which ways. A plant-based market isn't really a full-fledged developed market.
That's true.
But that doesn't stop you from trying to be one of the first out there, making it in with all sincerity that you can.
Right. So, I mean, you were an actor for many years before you turned producer. So that was still within the same industry. But like you said, running a food tech startup is a different ballgame altogether. So was there anything that you learned about yourself after you became an entrepreneur?
So I'm the way I handle my career also, I'm extremely disciplined. Like I was one of the few girls in a point where where contracts weren't important and dates weren't important and payment schedules weren't important. I was extremely particular that you give me a date, you give me a contract, because that's the only way I knew how to safeguard myself, So And I also in college, I also did my bachelor in management studies. So there was always an inclination towards a certain kind of business structure. I just didn't know that it would be food tech,
Right.
as such. But I feel that when I was in the US, I did a nutrition course over there
Okay.
at Cornell Institute or University. And this fascinated me that there's so much to um, there's so much to your food that can actually
Right.
be your medicine, that can actually be your way of life, that can actually help the environment. And this was something that started poking me to a large
Right.
extent, started exciting me. Uh, and with Ritesh, it became an opportunity that I could take and I wanted to
Hmm.
take. It's one of those risk taking things, I think, in my life that I've done very boldly, very boldly. It's probably my first venture. And because I was so involved in it, like I was so in tune with how I felt about it, as a business venture, it became about learning every day. So today
Right.
I learn every day. Like I learn about the B2B market, I learn
Hmm.
about the B2C market, I learn about Horeca to a large extent. I learn about it every day and I'm interested, and
Right.
that's all you need. I think when your focus is right, you there's no stop to learning, right?
Yeah.
You get the best team that you can, because they're always going to be better than you, and that's a good thing, because
Hmm.
that's what you should do. Like I remember Steve Jobs saying that you don't when you try to run the business, don't try to run it by yourself, try to run it with a group of professionals who can do their job really well. So
Ji.
I feel that's the strategy that you take. I mean, the idea and the initiation may be yours, but then you have a team that helps you
Right.
reach and helps you grow. So it is a learning curve, and it is something that was very different from what I've done before. But so was acting. I mean, it was never part of my family, or it was
Right.
never part of my dreams, or it was never part of my ambitions, and I did it. So I think life gives you opportunities, and it's up to you to make what you can out of it.
So I'd say you were always a risk taker in that sense then. This is not your first risk. And it's been paying off.
Yeah.
Okay. So is there a blueprint that you and Ritesh have in mind for how you want to turn Imagine Meats into a power brand, maybe an entrepreneur or a business model that you're inspired by and have set as like a benchmark for where you see your company going?
Uh, the story of Impossible Meats, Impossible Foods, it fascinated us when we were in the US. We also went to their facility,
Right.
and it fascinated us that at a tech exhibition, they launched their burger, and they were like, this is food tech, and
Right.
that's the reason why we come with our burgers, and that inspired us. I mean, at the end of the day, it is food tech, right? It is
Right.
something that you'd want to do, and we'd love to do it in a like. With India being our goal right now,
Right.
eventually we of course will be pushing overseas and stuff like that. But today it is India, and with all that we have, we'd love to push it to our different regions as well. So though there are people that inspire you every day, I think as a brand, Imagine Meats would like to have its own, its own little circle, its
Right.
own kind of reach, because it's a different route that you take for yourself, but learning from everyone that you see on the way, learning every day, and trying to make this. I mean, I think we're blessed in a country where you have so many spices that you can make
Right.
various things, you can mask various things, you can make it more interesting versus just a plain piece out there.
Right.
Our whole agenda right now is to be able to provide region specific very soon. So right now, while we
Okay.
throw out a lot more products, and we'll have a lot more coming in, we'll also go very region specific and try and make a dish that works in each region.
Oh, that sounds like a great idea. Okay. And finally, I wanted to ask about your Instagram because I love it. So it is one of the most joyful places on the internet, which is a very hard thing to do. So what has your approach to social media been like? Even like when you're promoting Imagine Meets or even just posting for fun, do you fret over whether something you post is on brand or not? How do you go about it?
No, I don't. Once I do something that makes me smile or that makes me happy or that there's something that I need to say. Even with Imagine Meets, it's always, while the brand has its own page and, it grows on itself. And of course, Ritesh and me are, always there with the brand and looking at it. When there's something that posts on my page, it's because I want to say it out there. And then whether it's, whether people like it, don't like it, thankfully, there are a lot of people who support me and say that, hey, we like your Instagram page,
because
we
it's
like
so fun.
I think that's a blessing in a great way, that you do those things. But when there's something that I want to say on my page, I say it, and I'm ready for whatever has to come my way, but I will say what I want to say, because I think that is personality driven as well. And if you don't stand up, like there's very, very few times that I'll do like a trend video or a trend thing. I'll just do something that fits into my scheme or something that I fit. Like there are times that I felt as a homemaker, because I've been a professional all my life, and I felt that a homemaker's job is the toughest. And I will say it, I will say it out there, because I know there are probably 10 people who feel that like me, but they've probably never even thought of saying it. So I will say it, because someone else will add on to that. And it is something that you need to speak out there. Or when it's, my kids, and I talk about my kids a lot, and, work is work. There's a part of my Instagram that has work, and that is work. But when there are things that I want to put out there, it's sometimes just to have a laugh, because it's a lot happening with these last 2 years. And I think sometimes you just want to chill about it, or when it's a matter of our upcoming projects, or the fact that Ritesh is just a director, and I want to say out there that, sometimes it's great to be part of people's dreams. I'll say it. It doesn't make me, less than an equal in a relationship, but it's just great sometimes to be that partner who's supporting the other partner in it. So that's my approach on the whole to the internet. And it's been overwhelming to have that zone, because like I tell Ritesh, sometimes all I do is kids, food, again, kids, food, work, and I don't realize that I don't have time for myself. Sometimes this just becomes my me time, which I like sharing with like-minded people, so it just becomes a very exchange of words and exchange of ideas, and not feeling judged, sometimes feeling overjudged, but it's part of life, I guess.
Awesome. I love it, and so many people love it. So I hope you keep continuing.
Thank you. Thank you
so much for talking to us, Genelia. All the very best with Imagine.
Thank you. My pleasure.